Hi, I'm Mel and I'm going to be showing you how to make this Premo Egg Stand out of polymer clay. I use Premo Sculpey clay and it's a really groovy one. It's got this candy cane type effect at the bottom, which is so fun to make. And this is a base for lots of other egg stands as well that you can see. If you watch through till the end, you'll get so many different tips and tricks which will really help you develop as a polymer clay crafter. Anyway, so I've got some black polymer clay and I'm gonna actually just kind of make my own little mix here. I've got some Caribbean blue glitter. You can use any glitter that you've got lying around, a little bit of TLS, which is also known as translucent liquid Sculpey. And I'm just adding a little bit of that just to help the glitter to kind of stick into the clay. It just kind of helps it bond a bit more. If you put too much glitter in, it can become a bit too dry. So anyway, I popped that through the pasta machine to blend it in, and I'm also adding some silver glitter as well. This is just normal craft glitter from your local store. A little bit more TLS just to make sure it's nice and soft, conditioned, and that the glitter is dispersed really well through. And here it is through the pasta machine a few times. You might have noticed that I divided it into thirds and not into a half. It's always a good idea to condition your polymer clay by folding it into thirds when you're putting it through the pasta machine, because it takes less time to condition it. It's a nice little trick, little secret there for you. Anyway, so I'm rolling a coil of the black clay that I made and also a silver coil using Premo Sculpey clay. And so what we're going to do is put those two coils of the same length next to each other. And then just very, very gently tap them together. Next, we're going to start twisting these coils from one end to the other, just very lightly and gently as you go along. And this is what it looks like up close. It's so much fun. You can make so many things with this technique, and you can use it, just so many things. You can make little lollipops and stick toothpicks in them. You can pop it on just about anything. Little dragon horns look fantastic with this technique. So it kind of looks like a little rope at the moment, and now we're going to roll it out a little bit. Just nice and gently. We don't want to thin it out anymore. We're just trying to flatten it a little bit. That's all we're doing here. And just do that nice and evenly on a flat surface. I'm working on a tile. You can work on some glass. Anyway, so what we're going to do now is just go along and just hand twist any little bits that look a little uneven. So you can see there's kind of longer parts of silver, and I'm just twisting them a bit more so it kind of evens out all of the little sections as you go along that coil. And I'm just measuring it here just to give you a rough idea of how big it is, roughly about 30 centimeters. I'm not sure why I decided to chop it off at this particular length. However, yeah, I just did that. And anyway, just roll it into, well, not roll, let's wind it into a little spiral. And you can see that effect just looks so amazing. And you could use so many different color combinations for this and they would look fantastic. So here's the base. And what we're going to do now is just press down on it. And that's going to help to bond it together. And I always like to mention, please make sure you're working with conditioned clay because it sticks very nicely together. It's just a very essential part of working with polymer clay. The plasticizers need to be activated so it sticks together. And it's just super easy to work with. I've got an amethyst crystal ball here that I decided to use. You don't just have to use them for eggs and Faberge eggs and things like that. You can also use it for other things like crystals, and you could pop a precious ring or a wedding ring or something into this little stand. And for some reason I lost the footage of doing just a plain dome on its own, so I'm going to show you a double dome. You might decide that you want to do the double dome and that you like that even better. So yeah, just let's focus on the larger circle. I've got a tissue blade here and I'm just kind of tapping it against the edges just to neaten it up a little bit, and then I'm going to take it off the tile and then just use my fingers to slightly reshape and neaten up that little divot there and just smooth out around the edges. All of these sheets of clay have been through the pasta machine, an absolute must, especially if you have chronic pain in your hands like me. And the next part's so much fun. You're gonna think, what is this crazy woman? Oh my gosh, it's a light globe. Yes, I'm going to bake on a light globe. It's going to give it a lovely curved shape. And so to do that, we press down from the middle and press very gently all the way out to the sides and all the way around, as you can see I'm doing here. So try to get it on the very center top of the light globe. I was really lucky with these light globes. Incandescent works best, by the way, but they're pretty old and hard to find. I couldn't find one at all, so I had to use a halogen, pretty sure it was a halogen globe, and that was fine in the oven. I was really lucky. It came with this ultra handy cardboard stand and the globes just sat up perfectly in the cardboard stand. You can just pop them in any kind of glass or mug though, if you don't have one of those cardboard stands, and that will be absolutely fine. As long as it's made from 100% wood, glass or ceramics, it will not in any way be affected by the oven. And it's on our light globe. We've baked it in the oven for the Polymer Clay brand's recommended baking time at the recommended temperature. And I am not speeding up this part at all because I want to really show you how gently and how much time it takes to pry this off the light globe. You have to be so gentle with the light globe. You don't want to smash it with your hand. You have to be so gentle with the pressure and just the teeny tiniest amount of pressure, and try not to dig the fingernails into the edge because you'll mark the edge. And you just keep going and going and going. It's really a lot of patience, and it will eventually pop off. It just takes a lot of patience. And there it is. Woo! Finally. So anyway, now that it is baked, and mind you, just letting you know that the base at this stage is still raw, still hasn't been baked. The only bit that's been baked is this is 5 centimeters, the actual dome that I decided to use in the end on this stand. And so that's baked, but the base is still raw. And the reason why we've done that is so that it doesn't lose its shape. Basically, I'm popping on some, you can use either Bacon Bond or TLS from the Sculpey range to kind of, it's a bit of a glue, I guess, kind of the clay glue, I would say, special kind of glue, and just generously apply that on both surfaces that you're wanting to stick together. And make sure it's in the center. And we also want to make sure, especially at this stage, that you have the base on the surface that you're going to put straight into the oven, is also another important thing. And so just press down. And the next stage is I've put this through one of the thinnest settings of my pasta machine, this silver piece of polymer clay, Premo Sculpey brand, and you can use anything that you like to texture it. I'm using a piece of volcanic scoria, also known as pumice stone. And yeah, you can buy that like on Amazon for like $10 or something like that. People use it for their for their feet and stuff like that. I think it is beautiful. You can use a texture sponge. You could use a scrunched up piece of aluminium foil. What else could you use? You could just press anything that you like to get a texture. Even a toothbrush, like into the surface. And I've cut a circle with a Sculpey circle cutter. This is a tissue blade that I'm using just to kind of neaten up the edges a little bit, a flexible tissue blade. I'm now using that to very carefully take that off the tile. And let's be nice and clean as we go. And I'm just going to reshape it a little bit so that it's nice and round. As round as we can get it, and let's generously apply the TLS to both surfaces again with a nice brush of some sort. A stiff bristly brush is usually a lot better because you get a bit more traction. Anyway, now let's pop that onto the dome, and we're going to start by pushing down in the very center. We want to avoid that mooning thing that can happen where little bits just pop up. So to do that, we start from the center and work our way out, and I'm tapping ever so gently all the way around, working from the center all the way out, and just keep repeating that. It might kind of move and squidge around a little bit in the little dome, and that's okay. You can move it around until you feel it's in the right spot. We're just going to make sure that there's no air pockets trapped underneath. That's the main thing about this. Otherwise, your egg or ball is not going to sit in there nice and neatly. It's going to be lopsided. So yeah, I'm just showing you how gently I'm pressing and just treating the clay here. I'm just really gently coaxing it into a nice, more rounded shape around that edge. I did apply some of the TLS onto the very edge so it could kind of just peep over a little tiny bit over that lip all the way around. Just make it nice and round, and I'm just chopping off a little bit of the excess here and smoothing that out with a cutting knife. And cut away from your fingers, keep them away from the knife. Anyway, so let's just keep coaxing that clay into a nice smooth edge all the way around, just smoothing down any little bits that need it until you're happy. And here's what the edge looks like. It's nice and neat and clean, and I found some silver eyeshadow. You can go through your eyeshadow collection, and it doesn't have to be metallic, it could be any color that you would like. And I'm just using my finger and gently, very, very gently, light as a feather, just running that over the raised parts of the texture that I've applied. Any kind of mica powder looks absolutely fantastic. You can get some fantastic colors. Bake in the oven according to your polymer clay brand's instructions, and please stick around and click on the links at the end because you can learn right now how to make an even taller and more elaborate egg stand that is going to wow you. I really recommend that you try it out. It's so much fun, and it's using a shot glass. So if you've got some shot glasses lying around, you can turn them into really, really cool egg stands. So please stick around and give it a go. Thank you so much for joining me in this video, and I'll see you in the next one.